Hey guys, Joe Madden here. It's time for Down to the Wire on the Vegas Insider Network, presented by BetMGM. Again, I'm your host, Joe Madden. We are live here Monday to Friday between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern. You can catch myself here on Wednesday and Friday nights. In today's show, I'm going to be welcoming in senior handicapper from Vegas Insider, Alex Smart, to talk some actions on the diamonds as well as a Friday college football play and some lines in the NFL. But before we get to that, we got a couple of things we're going to do first. I'm first going to jump to my best bet of the night. I'm looking at tomorrow's action in Thursday night football. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming in here taking on the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is going to be a great Thursday night game. We've got defensive questions on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. We've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers coming out strong defensively with TJ Watt on the field. They're the stronger defensive team in this one. Their offense has had some struggles getting those points on the board. But we have seen them struggle a little bit against that run. And it's going to be a hard one for them here against a Cleveland Browns team that loves to just grind that ball, play a heavy run game in this one. Now, the Steelers are coming off a 17-14 loss to the New England Patriots. They were a 3-point dog in that one. So anyone who wrote them in that and took them plus the 3 did get the push, and the Browns are coming off a heartbreaking loss. It was a 30-31 loss to the New York Jets. They were a 6.5-point favorite in that game. I'm looking for the Browns to really improve their defense in this game, but I don't know if they will be able to. I think there's just too many issues for them right now. What I like in this one is I'm going to take the over. I think this total just seems a little bit too low at 38.5. When we look at Pittsburgh, they're averaging 18.5 points per game and allowing that 85. Mitch Trubisky has been coming out. He's been solid with a 63% completion rate in his last game versus New England. I think we'll see some big passes to Johnson here and using Najee Harris to come out and get the points on the board. They just really need to work out how to stop the run of the Cleveland Browns, and I think that will have issues. So the over looks really solid. Cleveland averaging that 28 points per game and allowing 27.5. They struggled against the pass. If Mitch Trubisky can hit around that 3% completion rate, I'm pretty confident in this over here. I just think it's way too low at 38. We have Jacoby Brissett coming out for the Cleveland Browns. Now, he had a fantastic game against the New York Giants. It just wasn't enough, hitting 81% of his passes. It's going to be a great game, you guys. I really do think this is one where we will see a solid game out of both of these offenses. I think the Steelers have the stronger defense. I could see them pulling off this one. If I was forced to take a side, it would be the Steelers plus the points. It's going to be quite the battle here in Cleveland for this one. Now, before we bring in Alex Smart, I just want to tell you about our friends from BetMGM. Kick off your new football season with the Kings of Sportsbook. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free, up to $1,000. Again, you guys, that is VIBONUS, all one words, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free, up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Okay, guys, this truly is a fantastic time of year. NBA will kick off their regular season October 18th. Preseason starts next Friday. After this, the September 30th, and then NHL preseason kicks off this Saturday with 4 games. The regular season kicks off on October 7th. So expect this show to start talking about those sports as well as everything that we have going on right now. But we're going to welcome Alex Smart to the show and see what he has to talk about today. Alex, welcome to the show. Alex, I think you are muted. You guys, I think we're just having a couple technical difficulties with Alex here. We'll try to get him back on in a second. But like I was saying, it's just a beautiful time of year right now with all the sports coming together. I don't know what you guys think, but I absolutely love having all of these sports to be able to bet on. The NHL is by far my favorite. I cannot wait to see, with all of the adjustments in the offseason, how these teams have improved and see who ends up hoisting the Stanley Cup this season. It's going to be definitely a good one. 4 preseason games on Saturday in the NHL. We've got Ottawa and Toronto facing up in preseason action. We also have Boston and Philadelphia, St. Louis and Arizona. Preseason isn't something that I bet very much in the NHL, but something that I really take note of how these teams are coming out, how they're playing, and how they're working together. Very much like the NFL, I really do think these teams need that time on the ice before they hit the regular season to see if these teams can jive. I'm just going to see if Alex Smart is ready to come in yet. If he is, hopefully. But otherwise, let's talk a little bit about what we are seeing on the Diamonds tonight, you guys. So on the Diamonds tonight, we have quite a few games still to come. We've had some day action here today with Washington, the Nationals beating Atlanta, the Braves here. It was a 3-2 finish, and the Mets got absolutely destroyed by the Milwaukee Brewers. One that I am not happy to see. I was riding the New York Mets to come out strong in that one. But we do have Alex Smart ready to come back to the show, so let's welcome him in. Alex,
how are you doing
now?
Yeah, it's never happened before. Just perfectly, right on time, and it went down for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm here.
Well, I'm glad to see you froze beautifully. Let's talk a little bit about yourself before we jump into these games. How long have you been with Vegas Insider, and how did you get started as a handicapper?
Oh boy, I've been around this business for a long time, both as a professional bettor. Spent some time considering going behind the counter, facing the public, and then back again. It's been, I think it's been now 25 years of me offering my selections to the public. And it was, if you want to know where it started way back in the heyday before, maybe even, I don't know, maybe even before you were born. I'm not sure. But it was back in the late 90s anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Well, not before I was born, but I'm flattered by that comment. Let's talk some MLB tonight. We have the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. What are you liking in this matchup on the Diamonds, Alex?
Well, what I like here tonight, and the Blue Jays they played some extraordinary baseball, fantastic offense. Their pitching's held up for most of this season. But tonight on the Hill, after yesterday's crazy affair, 18-11 contest that saw the Toronto Blue Jays pull away and win, we have Gausman on the Hill, Gausman, and he has not pitched all that well after starting off his season very strongly. In his last 5 starts, he has a 5.40 ERA, and right now in his last 5 tilts, last 5 trips to the Hill, that 5.40 ERA has also seen him allow at least 4 runs in 3 of those games. And, Philadelphia showed me something yesterday. I know they lost. I know they're on a 5-game losing streak, but maybe those explosive bats, those sometimes explosive bats, are going to come back to life. And I think they really match up well against Gausman. And Gausman is a pitcher that needs a splitter to be working. And right now, his splitter is not working. And Philadelphia is just, I'm expecting him to tear him apart. But we'll see as the night goes on. I think we have an edge here. It's also interesting to note, in 13 of his, he's lost 13, or I should say he's lost 33 of his last 46 games when he's been a road underdog, plus 100 to plus 150. And that's in his career. And meanwhile, on the flip side, we've got a Philadelphia pitcher in Zach Wheeler who's pitched his absolute best baseball at home this year. He has a 6.3 record. minuscule 1.95 ERA. And like Bryce Harper said yesterday, we're going to put that game behind us, and we're going to look at today's game. And I think they're in desperation mode now. And I like the motivation that the Phillies will have here tonight. I know, like I just mentioned, 5 straight losses, but this team is an explosive team. I think we're going to see some regression from the Blue Jays today. And I like the Phillies to win.
Yeah, lots of motivation here for the Philadelphia Phillies to come out and try to hold on to that wild card spot. Any concerns with Zach Wheeler not being out on that field since August 20th was his last pitching start?
And that's what I was looking at too. Because Zach Wheeler was showing some tendencies to have a tired arm, and he showed it a little bit last year at this time, I really think this is an advantage for him tonight. And he's a top quality pitcher. Like I said, pitched well at home. He's got a rested arm. Let's see where it goes tonight. And I think we have enough edges for us to pull the trigger here.
Yeah, I like the way you're looking at this, Alex. With this total sitting at 8, with 2 explosive offenses here, were you shocked at all that this one came in at 8? I was expecting an 8.5 or a 9 in this one. Any leans on this total?
I looked at the total, and we've come into an age now where the lines maybe on the opening line there can be a mistake, but as the day goes on and the way professional bettors hit this kind of these numbers, you can see right now the value is probably not there. There's so much smart money out there now, especially at this time of year with football in full swing, that I really don't think there's a mistake being made here. And if there is a mistake, I haven't been able to find it. I know what you're saying, Joe. You look at these 2 teams and the 2 explosive offenses they have, but I think there's a regressionary factor here today that's being considered after yesterday's explosion.
And you're expecting that regression to come from my Toronto Blue Jays. I'm not taking them here tonight. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Best of luck in that game. Now, we have college football on Friday. We have the Mountain West Conference matchup between Nevada and Air Force. This is going to be a great game. Both these teams coming in off losses, Alex. What are you liking here? We got a large spread in favor of Air Force here.
Well, I can't say there's an absolute lot of value here, from an advantage player's situation. But what I do see here is an Air Force team that's completely aggravated. They were saying there was a sickness that went through the Air Force locker room, and that a lot of the players were not feeling 100%. Whatever that reason was, food, who knows? But they weren't feeling well. Supposedly, this is the story. I don't like excuses because really the team came out flat. They were very flat after just being absolutely explosive, averaging 530 yards, 44.5 points per game in the first 2 games. Many people saying this is the best Air Force squad that they had seen in a decade. And I'm still on the bandwagon. That was unfortunate last week, what happened. For whatever reason, like I said, they shouldn't be making excuses like that, but they made them, and it showed on the field. And, Air Force has had problems with Wyoming before. Different players, different programs, but essentially for whatever reason, Wyoming seems to be a thorn in their side. And we saw a huge thorn deposited in the Falcon side last week. I look for a big comeback this week. I think they're going to absolutely shred Nevada on the ground. I can see 40 to 50 points from Air Force going on the board here. You can look at that total, compare what you need to do here, and you can decide for yourselves. If you think Nevada will be able to score enough to make a difference, because I think Air Force is going to eat up a lot of clock. They're going to pound the ball on the ground like they always do, and they're just going to come out here and just destroy Nevada. That's my opinion, and I'm willing to lay the points to prove it.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this one. Running back Brad Roberts has been so strong for Air Force. I can see him having another similar strong day in this one. And defensively, I can't trust the Nevada Wolfpack here. They're allowing an average of 27 points per game. It's just going to be a game that I believe Air Force is going to run away with it. It seems like so many points, but with everything that you said, I'm feeling way more confident in this line.
Yeah, I think it's a pound down, a motivated pound down. I don't think anyone's going to take the kids' gloves off here, and they're just going to pound away. So it should be interesting and possibly entertaining, and possibly looking an over bet here. But I'll leave that up to everybody else who decides.
Yeah, that total dropping as well, looking even better the lower it gets here. Now, Alex, what's your overall thoughts so far on college football this season? Any big takeaways for us?
Georgia is just one of the most overpowering teams in the country. They're coming back at us just like they did last year. Going to be really hard to beat. But what's really impressive, even Texas without, even though they played that big game against Alabama, and I was one of the few people who thought they would play a big game there, and I took the points. I was very impressed by the fact that they played well without their starting quarterback last week, and they did not have a fall in your face kind of down mode motivational factor going for them last week. They played good football, and I still look for Texas to move forward here as the season goes on.
It's definitely going to be a wild season. Is there any teams that you're looking at that could be a sleeper team that we should be looking out for over the next couple of weeks, Alex?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by Syracuse, but once again, I'm more confident as I see maybe 2 or 3 interconference games go on for me to really feel confident. Looking at teams beforehand and futures bets, like I said, I mentioned Texas, and Alabama will always be there. Is there a team that stands out? Possibly Iowa State, and I'm looking at that Clemson Wake Forest game this week as being key too for ACC action. So that should be interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some great games on deck. Let's talk some NFL football. Early looks at some of these lines. We have some interesting matchups. One that's really caught my eye is the Green Bay Packers versus the Tampa Bay Bucs. Mike Evans, we know, is suspended for this one. Cole Beasley coming in, it looks like, in that wide receiver role. Now, I talked to a former Buffalo Bills player, and he said Cole Beasley, who was with the Buffalo Bills before, is invisible out on that field. He really can get out there, get those breakaways. Have you have any thoughts on Cole Beasley with the Bucs in this game?
At this point, no. I'm, if I was looking at anything, even from a prop situation, I pull triggers on props closer to game time, of course, because of possible reasons why somebody may not be playing or for whatever reason. But and the value seems to be always there towards the end. But individual players, individual matchups when it comes to coaching and everything else, I'm the kind of handicapper I am when it comes to NFL. I'm very interested in the whether the offensive line is going to be there, the left tackle, and the quarterback, and then I let the rest. Most teams are so deep that the rest of it really. This is my opinion. This is totally my opinion, by the way. It won't make enough difference, and as you can see, quarterbacks will sway a line to an extent. Brady maybe the most, and then we'll move down to a few other big names. But looking at individual players, looking at individual matchups in that way, the number one thing I always look at is, like I said, that quarterback, that left tackle, make sure most of the team's intact, and at the same time, also lines are very important. So you can look at one team and you can say, hey, am I willing to lay 7.5 points? Absolutely not. It's rare I'll ever lay 7.5 points unless I think that line should be at 10, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense there, Alex. Now, what are your thoughts right now on these two quarterbacks in this game? We've got Aaron Rodgers, who we saw stumble in that first game, bounce back nicely against the Bears, which if he didn't, I tell you, the media would have gone crazy with that after he claimed that he owned the Bears last season. And then we've got Tom Brady, who we know is having struggles with coming back just with home life. It seems like Giselle isn't happy. He doesn't look like himself right now. I think he's lost a lot of weight. What are your thoughts on both of these guys and how you think they're going to fare this season?
Well, Brady and Rodgers are both health nuts. We'll put it that way. Holistic guys that really take care of their bodies. But, my perspective here on either one of these guys is, Are they mentally ready? And early on, Brady's in his 40s now. Rodgers is late into his career, and he's been through a lot of ups and downs. And, are they mentally ready? I think they'll be mentally ready here this week. Physically ready, no problems as well. Interesting to note, too, Brady in his career, and this is from a money-making perspective, is 192, 131, and 9 ATS. That's just under 60% winning percentage if you bet on Brady. Rodgers, 132, 92, and 5, 59% conversion rate long-term, 14.9% ROI. You're looking at two money-making quarterbacks. Which way do you go? Well, you got to go back to the line and what you really, really expect to happen here. And right now, I just prefer to watch a game like that.
Definitely seems like a great one to watch, you guys. That is at 4:25 Eastern on Sunday. Alex, what other games within the Week 3 schedule are you looking at here?
Well, we got to look at the Bengals. The Bengals lost to 7-point favorites in Week 1 and in Week 2. And, where are they going to go from here? Is the hangover extensive? We're going to find out. And I'm not willing to lay any money on them until I can really see where their heads are at. Great quarterback, obviously, with Burrows, and, good team, well coached. But is the hangover, how extensive is the hangover? You spent some weekends in Vegas. Is it that big of a hangover? So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it almost seems like their hangovers like a Nashville hangover, which I really do think is Vegas on steroids after being there a couple weekends ago. It'll be interesting to see what the New York Jets can do here, coming in off a major high after getting that upset win in the last one. If they can exploit the offensive line and get to Burrows, I don't know. This is one of those tough games for sure. Is there any others that you're looking at on the schedule for an early look ahead?
Yeah, you got to look at Patrick Mahomes, and he's 22-1 SU the week after playing a division opponent. He's 19-0 SU, 60-3 ATS after a win versus a division opponent. So you're going to look at that, and then you're going to see you got to lay some points on the road here with a superstar QB that has proved himself a lot, at least from a straight up perspective. Are you willing to lay the money is the question here. And we'll look at this as the game goes on, as the week goes on, I should say.
Yeah, first look at this. We saw the Colts absolutely get destroyed on Sunday in that game, not able to get any points on the board. Dealing with so many injuries here for the Colts. I don't know. I've been eating my words on Kansas City. I am shocked at how strong Mahomes has been able to come out without Tyreek Hill. It's he's doing fantastic. And I hate to say it, I'm a Chargers fan, Alex, if you didn't know that.
You're a Chargers fan? Is that what you said?
Absolutely. So
No, that's great. No,
yeah.
That's a team on the rise too. Can they win consecutively, or can they consistently, I should say? And yeah, possibly. And we're going to find out this year. I like the Chargers. One last game that this is just really bad. The Panthers have lost 9 consecutive games against the spread. It's the longest losing streak right now in the NFL. And they've failed to cover 14 of their last 16. And you got to look and you got to wonder, what do they need to do to move forward? And where's this line going to go that's going to give us some kind of advantage in even thinking about the Panthers? So that's another game. That's about the only ones that I really – oh, I'm sorry. And one last one. I'm all over the place here. The Lions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a team we have to look at, watch, see where they continue to go from here, because it's pretty amazing football they're playing.
Yeah, they are playing some fantastic football. Week 2, I tell you, it was like mini panic attacks watching all of these games. I couldn't believe how strong Miami came back in that game versus Baltimore. They're facing Buffalo. We know Buffalo, Josh Allen is on a mission. This team is fantastic. Any hopes, any prayers for Miami coming into this one? It is at home, 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.
This is the NFL. Give it maybe 2 minutes in the game. we're down to the warning, and then, then we might know at that point. But there's always hope, even with just a little bit of time in a game in the NFL. It seems for the first 3 weeks anyway. It is a consistent prospectus in the NFL that if you are making live bets, watch the second half.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the matchup here. If Miami somehow comes out and pulls this off, there's going to be a lot of people eating their words over Tua. You got any thoughts on Tua as the quarterback? I know there was a highly renowned Fox Sports reporter that said they think the Tua will be benched by mid-season. Any thoughts on him and how he's doing? He's sure proving something in that last game.
Well, I'm starting to wonder if ESPN is not the CNN of the sports world, because you got to take everything they say with a grain of salt. And I really, if there's one thing I'm ever going to say to anybody who has ambitions of actually handicapping themselves, always listen to your own heart, look at the statistics, and make up your own mind before you listen to anybody, even us, on anything. And then when you run out of options, come and visit me. I'll be there for you. But yeah, that's my opinion anyway for everybody.
That's awesome, Alex. Thank you so much for that information. It is great advice, you guys, for sure. Alex, can you just describe what kind of handicapper you are, what people can expect from getting your packages over at Vegas Insider?
Well, you're going to look at a guy that I've got a system, and it's called Keep It Simple Stupid, and it's been honed over, I'd say, 30 years plus of betting. And I've always had this concept, and that is, if it moves, I hit it, but it has to move in a direction where my aim is right on. We'll put it that way. The thing about everything's a line, and it's not about who's going to win a game straight up. Of course, we all know that. It's about the lines and the advantages and the edges. And as long as we have an edge, I'm there, and I will try to keep on pounding it. Now, this is a really tough game, and no matter what anybody wants to tell you, and I've always been honest, straight up with all my clients. And the truth is, and you've heard it before, it's a long-term battle. It's not a sprint, and it's a marathon. So be patient. In the end, we will be victorious.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Alex. It is a long time grind. You can't just judge a handicapper on the day before. If people are looking to find you, we know we can find you on Vegas Insider, but where can they find you on socials?
Social media, I've got Twitter. Haven't been throwing a lot of stuff out on Twitter lately, but I will as the season progresses. I've been spending more time rather than advertising myself and telling people what a great handicapper I am. I'm trying to prove it. And I've proved it over the years anyway, and hopefully I can continue to prove it this year. But you can catch me on Twitter, and I will have updates beginning very shortly on a consistent basis, especially during the mid part of NFL season as NBA gets going in the NHL.
Okay, Alex, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on Down to the Wire today. I want to thank you so much for joining me.
Appreciate it, Joe. Take care. Thank you very much for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Pleasure was all mine. You guys, just a reminder, you are watching a Down to the Wire on the Vegas Insider Network presented by BetMGM. That was Alex Smart. Always a pleasure to have the handicappers from Vegas Insider on. And now I am going to talk about my second best bet of the day. I'm looking at Friday's game between Virginia and Syracuse in college football. Now, this is an interesting one. Syracuse coming in as the favorite here. And I do think that they get this win and cover over Virginia. I think the difference is the ability of the offense of Syracuse. I think they're going to come out nice and strong in this one. They're averaging 37 points per game, and their defense has been playing outstanding, only allowing that 16.7. And we know Virginia has been strong defensively, holding teams to 18.3. But on the offensive side of the ball, they're just not getting those points on the board. They are controlling that clock. So Syracuse is going to have to find a way to get their offense off the field and make sure that they do get the time to get the points on the board. But I do think with what we see out of Syracuse, they're going to be able to get this done. Syracuse is 3-0 against the spread on the season. They really do play a solid ground and pound style game led by running back Sean Tucker. They're going to get the points, you guys. Lay Syracuse, laying those points. I just can't trust in quarterback Armstrong either for Virginia. Now, he's only got a 52.9% completion. And he's interception prone already, 3 interceptions on the season. And Virginia sitting 0-3 against the spread this season. So take Syracuse laying those points. But you guys, it is time for our handicapper heat check presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today, we are actually going to recognize my guest, Alex Smart, who can be found on Twitter, as he said, at Alex Smart Sports 1. Now, Alex nailed both of his totals yesterday, extending his win streak to 6 straight games. Catch today's winning MLB plays by visiting VegasInsider.com/picks or by clicking Alex promo on Vegas Insider homepage. That's your handicapper heater check. Stay hot, bettors. Now, just to recap my bets for the day for this show, I'm going to look at taking Pittsburgh and Cleveland over 38.5. And I'm also going to jump on Syracuse laying the points versus Virginia. Now, you guys, if you like what you have seen here, you're going to love our Vegas Insider app. You want to definitely check it out. It's a brand new app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, futures, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on all Apple and Android devices. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Okay, you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me here on Down to the Wire. I'm Jo Madden. It was an absolute pleasure being here. Just to remind you, we are presented by BetMGM. Until next time, keep smiling and let's make some frickin' money. Thanks, guys.